Returning from Europe on the ferry in a fog, I feel that we are in an old 50s movie, all blacks and greys. We take the train from Dover up to London, avoiding the question of a dismembered house south of the river and the raw fact that when we reach the city, we will part and go to two different rooms. You to a student hall going back to study, me to a basement flat on the edge of Hampstead Heath. I arrive in a room so full of cardboard boxes I can see little else, and everything I own is in them. I have been in this room only once before. It smells a little damp. It is very dark. It is below the level of the street. The owner of the flat sleeps on the other side of the wall. I know where nothing is. I know I must lie down and sleep in this new bed. I know I will wake up and not know where I am. I know I will have new dreams. I know I will have to get up and go to work in the morning from this new place. I know I'll have to learn a new phone number. I know I'll have to buy food for myself and cook it. I know that I'll have to live the next day and the next outside anyone's gaze. I know I will think of what you're doing almost every minute of every day. I know that I can still smell you and hear your voice. I know that I must not call you. I know it is okay to be afraid. I know it is okay to cry. I know that someday I'll be happy again. I tell myself this. Often in September, I remember that time and the ginkgos in Russell Square where I'd have toast and tea before work in the bright blue London mornings. I was working in the periodicals room of Senate House, fetching journals from the Tower, making minute entries in the records in ink, finding camaraderie among the other young people amid an old-fashioned and very eccentric English library. We had been living together for over a year when we decided to make a trip to your past in Strasbourg on a train with wine-coloured leather seats. As a teenager, years before, you had joined a French order of missionary priests, the White Fathers, and had trained there. Our trip was a mistake. We were coming to an end, and when we got there, you began to break open. The city was postcard perfect. The wooden houses with their ornate scrolled lintels, the little hotel we first stayed in like an inn in Dickens, our first night eating Alsatian flan, my first taste of Gewürztraminer from the route de Vannes. But then we went to stay with your friend, another ex-priest who had settled there, and you sat up with him all night crying. In the morning, his French wife drove you to the doctor's, her tanned long legs in the driving seat of the Peugeot, perfect in a wrap dress. She made plum tarts for pretty children who ran in from school. Why was I there? It was a mistake. And so we came back and parted, and for the rest of the winter, I will slowly unpack the boxes and find a place for everything in that single room. I will read Anne Stevenson's bitter biography of Plath in a rocking chair. I will listen for news of you from friends. I will walk down the hill to work past the wolves in the zoo. I will reread all of Anne of Green Gables' books in a week of flu. I will walk on the heath on Sundays and eat cakes in Louis. I will sleep out a snow day. I will try to sound cheerful when I speak to my mother on the phone. I will knit all of the loss into a Donegal tweed jumper heavy enough to take it and wait for spring, and your inevitable February letter asking me to try again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was a beautiful story.
Thanks,
I am recognizing that I am listening with a particular kind of agenda these days because I have been teaching myself how to knit during lockdown. I can do four things. I can cast on, I can cast off, I can do knit, and I can do purl, and I have the skill of a 6-year-old. So anytime I hear anybody casually referring to knitting an iron jumper, I just find myself filled with jealousy and sadness. Oh, yeah, there. I'm going to show you. I knitted Paul a bookmark. There is the bookmark that I knitted. That only took me an hour.